Okay, so I want to say welcome everybody, welcome to another video here. Sorry about the camera angle, it's a little bit on the angle there. This is a morning video, I've just woken up. And in today's video we're going to have a little chat about martial arts, okay? Because as most of you know now, or should do, martial arts is such a big thing in my life. It's been the biggest part of my life since I was very young, and I've been training under many teachers of different arts, studying, really doing my homework too. I've been training by myself, harder in a lot of ways, harder than so many other people have. I've trained harder than some people have for competitions or black belts or whatever, high level stuff in my own ways. And I really believe that and know that because I've seen the amount of effort I've put into training in terms of time, methods, and time and time again. I'll say this, time again. Why am I saying time? Because the amount of time I've put in, and I actually live the life of a martial artist. It's not just been like you just train once a week, you know what I mean? and I've kept true to the philosophy of the martial arts too, which for many years I was as I was developing, I was also trying to do that. I was believing that the philosophy of the martial arts was it. It was what keeps a person pure and good and strong. And when I say strong, I don't mean strong as in strong only that you can beat everybody in a fight and all this stuff and that, but I mean strong in terms of keeping the composure of oneself, and that's, I'll say it simply as that, okay? Control of oneself, and understanding right, wrong, and the need to either act or not act on a certain. When I say, I don't mean act like an actor. I mean take action or not take action. And basically understanding the essence of true understanding in a form of being, in the flow of nature. But anyway, that's a very deep way of putting it. But but yeah, it was basically that. I thought there was this martial arts philosophy, which was the key to having a good life, basically living a good life. And basically, as the years went by, I learned what the truth was, and the truth was martial arts is only one form of human expression, one form of one of the most powerful forms of human expression or human maintenance, and an art of channeling the self, I would say, a certain essence and a way of being, and it's a way of what was I thinking? It's like Bruce Lee says, not thinking, not dreaming, it's not thinking and not dreaming, but it's like a way of natural thought that develops. That is a very efficient way to drive the vehicle, which is the body. But it isn't, because it isn't that, as I used to think, that there's martial arts and the philosophy of martial arts, and these two things make my life. What it truly is martial arts is like a window. That's what I'll put it. It's a window. And if you see, then you do, right? So you walk through the door, so maybe a doorway. It's a gateway and a bridge to be in one. Whether you are late, you're never too late. You're never too late to train martial arts either. But whether you are late in coming to the bridge, any time in your life, you may be a young person. You may take your whole life to cross that bridge, of course, to walk that path. But it's a lifelong journey anyway. I know we're never perfect, but we always try to do what we can. But it's like, but it's coming to the bridge, and then that's what it is. It's the crossing of the bridge. That's what martial arts is, the crossing of the bridge. without the bridge you can't cross, and without you crossing you can't get to the other side. So it's basically the magic of crossing the bridge, the magic of the journey rather than the destination. We've got this one life, and it's a slow thing to be enjoyed. This life is it should be a slow thing to be enjoyed, not a thing that we rush through and not enjoy it and end up dead. It's life. And what I'm trying to say here, I know I'm babbling, it's very hard to express in simple form. Yeah, but to me that's what it really is. It's a bridge, a path, a window and a door to understanding and getting more in tune with the true thing that matters, the underlying principle of reality, and that is reality itself. And I talk about this a lot, the DAO, which is basically they talk about this in Taoist beliefs, and it's very hard for me because I'm not religious, and I've heard some people class that as a religion, so I've always held back and said I'm not a Taoist, and also I'm not an actual certified. I've never actually been to whatever Taoist temples and stuff like that as such. I'm not a monk or whatever you call that, a Taoist priest. I'm not that. But for the most part, I truly believe in those principles, because it's not talking about a God. Now, if there is a God, of course, that created us all, then that's amazing and everything. I don't know. I'm just saying, right? I'm open to everything. But what I'm saying is, in terms of nature, okay, the Tao is talking about reality. That's all it's talking about. Reality, nature. The best way to get a look into what the Tao is, because you can't even explain the damn thing. The thing about the damn is you've got to look at a book, a Chinese book. To me, it's the greatest book ever written. It was written by a great ancient Chinese philosopher called Lao Tzu. Okay, Lao Tzu. Sometimes it's pronounced as Lao Tzu, whatever, but it's Lao Tzu. Okay, and his book. Okay, he's famous for this book that he wrote, and the book is called the Dao De Jing. Okay, Dao De Jing. Now, sometimes it's pronounced wrongly also in the West. Like Tao Te Ching or Dao De Jing, or the Tao Te Ching. They say it in funny ways, but it's the Dao De Jing. Okay, and I'm not boasting or anything. I'm saying, but I can speak Mandarin Chinese. I've been living in China for 13 years, and you got no idea, man. My life's here, but I mean living in it too. It's not like I'm some holiday, one of these holiday bums I see running around here. No offence. Acting like they know it all and getting into arguments with the locals, and no, I'm not that kind of person. I actually live here. My wife's Chinese. My wife and her family. We don't speak any English at home. We can't. She understands a few bits of English, but usually we just speak Chinese. I've had a long experience living in China for many years now. I can't read Chinese currently yet. I can read a few words, but speaking, it's like naturally thinking in me. I've been practicing for many years learning, to get the pronunciation right. But sometimes we hear like mispronunciations in the West, and in the West, there's a lot of mispronunciations of certain words. For example, Tai Chi. Tai Chi. Okay, it's Tai Chi. Okay, Tai Chi. You have to say, and then they say Tai Chi Chuan. Right, Chuan. It's actually Tren. It means the fist, okay, but it doesn't mean the fist as in only the fist. In this example, it means the way or the style, okay. So that's why we always have that on the end of a martial arts system, okay. Name, for example, Zui Tren, okay. For example, that's a drunken fist. Okay, Bai He Tren, white crane fist. Okay, Tang Lang Tren, mantis fist. So we've always got this Tren on the end, Yong Chun Tren. Yong Chun is the Mandarin version of the way of saying Wing Chun, okay, what we know as Wing Chun. Now, the term Wing Chun, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm used to saying Wing Chun or Wing Chun. It's probably Wing Chun or something like that, but it's something. It's I'm I'm thinking that comes more from the Cantonese. I can't speak Cantonese properly, but in the West. In the West, we say Wing Chun, Wing Chun, Wing Chun. I don't know if I'm getting the pronunciation right there. I like to say Wing Chun. It's the art that I practice mainly, on top of most arts now, because I think it's such a powerful art for most of what it's about. But there's no perfect art, of course, in the martial arts. But I like Wing Chun. But in Mandarin, it's Yong Chun. And it's very common to put the chuan on the end, meaning fist or the way, you know. Some arts, such as Bagua Zhang, they use Zhang and Shou Zhang, the palm, the hand, okay. The palm, the Zhang is the palm. So for something like Bagua, okay. I've heard it translated in English. They've said like I think different names, like 8 diagrams, palms or whatever, because that art mainly they're using a lot of palm techniques. Okay, there's other internal arts too, such as Xingyi Chuan, but it's like Xingyi, Bagua and Taiji are like the three main internal arts, and there's various systems of these. There's various styles of them, especially Taiji and Bagua. There's very different systems of them too. But a lot, actually. I mean, I used to hear it said that there was like 4 main schools of Tai Chi, but it's there are more. But sometimes it blows me away when I hear people saying things like, "Oh, there's thousands and thousands. There's so many versions of an art." Like the other day, I was watching a video online. I was watching this video online. Oh, before I tell you about that, I want to say something else. Also, we got Qigong. Don't forget Qigong, which is about the internal, okay, the flow of qi in your body. Okay, but it's like an exercise really, and for breathing and posture. And I've done some training, some basic training in that. I'm not talking about crazy training. I'm not talking about a really, whether you want to call it extreme or high level, whatever it is, but other training where you're able to like break things and send things flying without even touching it, or smash poles over your head and break them, lay on beds of nails like the monks do these shows and stuff, whatever you call it, feats. I'm not talking about that stuff, okay? I've never trained in that to any deep level to actually even know if such things are possible or bunk them, so to speak. But and also I've had a lot of confusion myself when it comes to Qi. I've never understood, because I get confused, because it's like it's sometimes brought up in Chinese too, in other things, okay, other situations, but the Qi part, because I've always got confused, because I've always wondered what it was. Qi has always been described as the inner force, the energy force, the driving force, and we used to do exercises too where you can feel like the energy between your hands. It felt like that, like magnets, but it was almost like, was it your blood flow, was it just your blood circulation and your imagination, things like that. I wasn't too sure about. Isn't it the illusion, or is it real? But the idea about the Qi was the flow of the energy that flows throughout your body. And I've heard things before. They're talking about the blood, and they're talking about the air, and they're talking about this energy, this life force flowing through it. And I don't know where this mistranslation is or what the hell it is again. Yeah, but it's like, yeah, I've heard it. I hear Qi basically described differently in different situations. I've heard it described as the air, simply the air you breathe. So they talk about breathing exercises and stuff like that, and the Qi in your body. And I've actually heard it like people explain, like you're imagining the breath, you're breathing in, and you're imagining breathing energy, breathing to different parts of your body, like focusing your mind. Of course, we breathe into our lungs, obviously, but I'm not going to go into detail here. There's different methods. I know a couple of different methods, but I'm just saying different things. But I'm just saying, okay. And then other times people talk about it like it's this mysterious, interesting energy in your body, that's flowing around your body. Like, and I don't know what they're saying. Is it the air, the blood, both, or whatever else, or just this mysterious power, force, invisible force that's inside everybody's body that we can harness and develop? In Japanese they say ki, right? Ki. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Ki, but it's a ki, you know. Ki, ki. In Chinese it's qi. Okay. Chi. Okay, so that's the way our Q is pronounced. In English we usually put a letter U after the word, after the letter Q, right? So qu. But in Chinese, I mean, again, with words such as Chuan, okay, again, Q, U, it is Q-U for that word, but it's Q-U-A-N, it's Chuan. But going back to what I'm saying, though, yeah, but there's a lot of different martial arts. I've kind of forgotten what I was going to say. Please excuse me for drinking this tea. Yeah, I've forgotten what I was going to say there, but okay, but let's just talk about this anyway. It's just very fascinating, the kind of martial arts, you know. So, kind of forgot what the hell I was going to talk about now, but we're talking about martial arts and yeah, but anyway, martial arts, okay, so all martial arts is like methods, or they're methods of maintaining the self, developing the self, and harnessing some power through ability and power of the mind through knowledge and practice that also becomes a wisdom. So you work, it's like they've always said, like you work hard until it starts taking care of you. You take care of your training and it takes care of you. So the martial arts basically, you know, is this thing, it becomes this awareness. It becomes a bridge and a connection between you and basically the DAO, you know, the way of true nature. Now, going back to that bit up again. So the DAO, okay, the DAO being no nature, okay. So this is something that my whole life's based on, and that's the most important thing to me, really. It can't not be, because even no matter what, when we're unaware and we're distracted from nature, it's always there. So it's about reality and nature. That's what it's about again. So the DAO is basically the ultimate truth of everything. Not the truth of, you know, oh, you know, is that box of biscuits really worth that price in the shop? Not, oh, is that company conning us or not? You know, no, it's not. It's just about, oh, is this guy really going to be a good president? Or, do you really think so and so's a good person? No, it's not about that. Okay, it's about the ultimate truth of what actually works and what don't work. Basically, it's the flow of everything. Whether you win or lose, or think you're winning or losing, or what's right, it doesn't matter. It's just it is just everything and nothing, if you can imagine that. Every idea that has ever been thought, or never been thought, or capable or incapable of being thought, even that is all of that, and it's none of that. It's all of that. That's what it really is. It's the whole everything. Everything is constantly changing, so nothing therefore is, which also goes over again, kind of reiterates one of my old sentences that I've always made up in the past. I always said that everything is nothing and nothing is everything. People that know me online, you'll know me for saying that, as well as train hard and stay safe. But you know, everything is nothing and nothing is everything. But before you understand that, you need to understand that something is something. You know, everything is everything, and nothing is nothing. Truly, you have to understand that. You can't sit on your ass and not, excuse my language, fucking ass and not work out and do exercise and expect to get fit. No, you have to work out. Okay. And doing nothing won't get things done, right? Of course, right? In certain situations. It's like if you were ill, if you had an injury and you started to work out, you'd hurt yourself. You'd be better to let it heal, right? It's the same as doing nothing, you know, or taking a step, or like taking steps in the wrong direction. It's like you're going nowhere, you know. But anyway, the DAO, okay, we're talking about that, okay, so everything is nothing and nothing is everything, but the DAO is like, it covers all of nature, and because everything's always changing and constantly in a flow, that therefore nothing stays static and still. the water, like water flowing constantly, and things are always changing. The blood cells in your body, everything is growing and developing constantly, right? And we've got to work. We've got to hurry our ass up. We've got to speed up to find a way of calmly fitting in and connecting with nature in good time, so as to lengthen this experience of life, this life, and make the most of it. Because if we're rushing around constantly, it's like you're speeding through your life, and before you know it, you've done nothing in that time you were given. So, you know, the truth is nature is the way, and that's it. Yin and yang, okay, yin and yang, the two sides, the opposing or complementary sides. Okay, yin and yang, okay, it's pronounced like yin and yang in the West. Yin and yang, even the sign they say it's a yin yang, but yin and yang, but it's yin and yang in Mandarin Chinese. Okay, but there's these two sides of what the Tao is all about. And if you read this book, okay, the Tao Te Ching, okay, written by Lao Tzu, okay, you will know, okay, you will see how profound it is. Now, a very, very ignorantly, so full of their busyness and what's the word? Oblivious, unaware, someone who doesn't pay more attention and who can't be clear in themselves. Someone may look at that book or not, take a glimpse into that book and say it's just a bunch of poetic BS, a bunch of little poetic quotes, and that's no use for our modern world. Excuse me. It's not useful, you know. Oh, and they won't ever even think about trying to use the examples from the sentences that are in the book. It's just a collection of basically old, excuse me. They're like proverbs, you know. They're like meaningful proverbs and sentences like that, but they're basically things that are supposed to get people thinking about how we can naturally resolve things, and but it's about getting in touch with nature. It's different to Kongzhi's words. Kongzhi being Confucius, okay. Lao Tzu and Kongzhi are different. It's very different to Kongzhi, okay. Confucius and the Confucianism way, that's very different. Confucianism, as far as I'm aware, I don't know as much about it, but I know Confucianism is more about how things were supposed to be run in a society in harmony, so to speak, so that everything works in the system, you know. And we've got this triangle, this hierarchy of power, and it does make sense. Of course, you need a system, you need order, but the problem is we have a lot of chaos and corruption. So you need a top and a bottom, right? You need balance and imbalance. It's a weird thing, but you can't have one side of the weighing scales full more, can you? To be, you know what I'm trying to say? For there to be total harmony, balance. It's got to be nature. The way to win, the way to survive is through nature only. Which is why I follow the ways of Taoism before Confucianism. You know, absolutely. Because Taoist principles, the Tao, it's the way of nature. It's not following a group of people at all. It's not following any form of idea, any way that you try to describe it, explain it in a human way. You just can't. It's just, you're here, you better enjoy it. The Tao is almost like food. It's like, it is food. It's like, basically, it's like, you know, the food that you never knew fucking existed. Damn it, wake up, you know. It's like the food, you know, yeah. It's the food. If you don't eat it now, it's going to go stale and it's going to be too late. You can't eat it, so you've got to eat it while it's there. But to me, I'm saying, just following the ways of society, no matter how good the system, if it was run on a Confucianism, whatever way, you think you're living the role out, living the part, living your role of who you are. Yeah, I'm a successful businessman. Sorry, man. I'm a successful this or that. People respect me because of my hard work, and You know, and you think you live in this world. A lot of the time you're living in a prison-like mind state, deluded, out of touch with nature, battle-thirsty, like a crazed, starved wolf, like a crazed, starved to his ego fighter of the UFC, your sports ring fighter, like a soldier fighting with honour for battle for his country, as though that's the normal thing to do for human beings, which are animals as well, or a creature, to be destroying itself. Do you see animals running around with guns, waving flags for their honour? They're part of the forest, and we're doing it for our land, and there's honour in that. Well, yeah, many of our forces died, so we're going to protect them. We're going to fight back. So what are you talking about? You know? They fight to hunt and survive. It's not about that. So humans are crazy, where they want to just always be at battle. It's greed, ego, fear about nothing. They'll be erratically trying to act tough towards one another. You know, we're trying to hold things together with our iron fist. It's like you've got the emperor ruling the goddamn land, and then you've got the individuals trying to be mini emperors, because they've got to have that hierarchy. They've got to have that order, because people can't have some compassion towards one another and simply understand the way of nature and understand that the role that they've got to play is to do what's good for them and all of nature around them. A mother or father should know instinctively that they've got to take care of their kids. The same way you know instinctively, you know, because it's a choice of your own, it's part of your own things. It's like, you know, your stomach's rumbling, you know you've got to eat, you know. Your hands got covered in some sticky goop, and you're like, shit, honey or whatever, and you're like, I've got to wash this off, because you know it feels a bit sticky, and you're like, you know. But they cover all that other shit around with them all the time. They carry all that crap around them in their daily lives, and they don't understand. They're not free. Walking around with a bag of rubbish, walking up and down the beautiful seaside front. Man, put the fucking rubbish down. You know, you don't need to carry that crap around in this beautiful life. You know, man or woman. Okay, so now going back to what I'm saying, okay, man or woman, we need to get in touch with nature, all of us. Man or woman or boy or girl, everybody needs to get in touch with nature. So the true thing in life is the DAO, that's it. It's not a human principle concept, or like I'm telling you some ancient, like as though it's some old, it doesn't matter now. No, it's not something that changes with time. That doesn't change with time. It's not something that in the form that human beings may think. Like a lot of things come and go in this society, trends and stuff. No, the DAO is the true essence of all nature, time, space, and everything. It's not something just because some ancient person wrote it and he was famous and he was listened to by many. Hey, what about someone who was listened to by no one? Don't you think that maybe there's a chance that, you know, you could learn something, an individual could learn something? You know? Do you believe that someone who hasn't listened to other people, could that person learn anything about themselves? Where does learning start? Does it start from teachers? Does it start from... It just starts from contemplation, questioning, thought, realising, seeing, hearing, understanding. That's where it comes from. It comes from the self, right? The self. Absorb. Where does the flavour of the food come from? Start, I should say. Does it start in the hands of the chef? Does it start in the money that was paid to him? Does it start in when he, you know, went to study from whoever to become a chef? It comes in the taste buds. That's where it fucking comes from. Excuse my language. a lot of people buy food because they like the taste as well, don't forget, and also because they're hungry, right? So the self is what it's about, the sense. So how can we lose our sense? We speak common sense, the sense of the common, what, all the people. No, use your brain, your mind, to be in control of the body. You can't sleep and drive a car at the same time, so what do you think is going on in your life, people, It's like you're crashing, it's like you're constantly a drunk driver, and you don't know why you keep having accidents, and you don't see don't realise how lucky you are to still be alive. On the path, now this sounds like philosophical garbage, jargon, silly nonsense. No, we are actually still alive, and the life is going along. So it's not about fighting constantly, or looking to be the champion of every argument, so to speak. So martial arts constantly reflects in a warrior kind of pathway of how to be a warrior in yourself, how to be strong, how to deal with troubles and be the true hero, how to fight it with methods of scientific flow of being defensive rather than offensive, but doing something even through the action of nothing sometimes, but like doing, it's a practice of the self, an actual doing, yes, but it's mainly teaching you to avoid trouble and avoid hassle. That's what it's really about, being wise in the mind and then being practical in the application through the physical. But it's one thing, it's one aspect, and you can get stuck in one aspect of anything for quite a long time sometimes in your life and spend years with certain things. But martial arts is a lifelong journey, and you can study a lot of things in this life, and you can spend years of studying different things too. They can all help you, excuse me, but the thing is, the Tao, the nature, the way of nature is what it's all about. Okay, what life's really about, because we're connected to that and we come from that, the nature, the way of nature, all of nature. There's two sides to everything. To keep the balance, that keeps the balance of everything, the balance of our maintenance. If the balance of your maintenance is not in balance, not present, then there's no way you're going to be able to exist. You can't exist, right? So it's always good to have two sides. Okay? But you're going to have your own choices and thoughts in life. I'm going to stop this video now because I was going to talk more about martial arts and techniques and different things, but what I'm saying is the underlying principles of the underlying reality of everything is reality itself. Whatever you want to call it, truth, reality, nature, the Tao, whatever you want to call it, it is the fundamental truth of everything. Not what we're making up. Styles, so to speak, you see. You've got styles of martial arts, yes, and we've got styles of anything, but it's not just about a thing that we make up. Well, I'm not trying to say our language. It's got to come from reality. A lot of martial arts, and I do believe this, I really do believe this, so much of the martial arts methods of movement have been made up, the same as forms of dancing, and that's okay, they're forms of expression. And that's also okay when you can find practical uses for things. But I'm saying, some things are just literally stylish, whether they be martial art systems, forms of dancing and physical art, basically, like forms of expression of drawing and painting. That's why you see like abstract art and things like that too, right? Where it's like you see the thing and you don't know what it is, but it looks good. But it's still kind of because like it reminds you of something. The same as when you see like a very exaggerated, maybe seemingly impractical martial arts move, which actually does reflect some truth which is based on, it's just like done in a certain way and you've got to adapt it a certain way. Same way, or when you hear some music, you may hear an absolute mess, but if you've got good hearing, you may actually hear some nice notes and stuff in there and tunes. So I don't know, it could be music, expression, it could be anything, it could be cooking. You might try some food that you feel, oh, it's good, yeah, it's got kind of like that taste from that part of the world kind of thing, right? Because you think you've tasted something like that before. And it's like, oh, it must be good, but whatever, man, it's back to the taste buds again, see? For real. Similarities in everything, similarities in language, similarities in the way we act towards one another. Similarities is all connected along the line. You don't have a tree which grows and then out from the top comes a Coca-Cola can. No, for fuck's sake. It's growing, it's all connected. All the greenery in the forest, all the things. You see, it's funny, there's a lot of green in the forest, isn't it? Or like this bullshit that goes around, like this venomous virus style political correctness crap in society nowadays. As well, things like that. Ideas. Answers spreading more than questions. The only questions are because they just want to just so out of tune with nature and trust in anything. You know, it's like where's the ground I'm standing on, sort of thing. You know. And I was going to say also, it's like sci-fi films and stuff. You know. Hold on one second. Where you get sci-fi films like, I like sci-fi. I'm just saying, like you get sci-fi films and stuff, sci-fi movies, where you see an alien from the planet, whatever the hell, you know, and on that planet the creatures have 6 eyes, you know, 2 heads and tentacles for arms, and a robotic armoured suit and some form of weaponry that resembles a gun or a sword in a laser or type form or something. And they're speaking a language. Now what do you see when you see that? What you basically see is the human mind again, because it's based off of similarities, what they're used to seeing, what they think of as life. And we've said it before, you can hear Jock Fresco talking about stuff like this. Venus Project, well done to everybody on that as well. Yeah, but I'm just saying, okay, some robots or anything like that, you know, vehicles, technology, we think of in sci-fi, it's all based on stuff that we've. You can go back to the horse and cart, you can go back to the Stone Age or the stone wheel, you know. But I'm just saying, right, you know, I think before the wheel there was the ball. There had to have been a very roundish rock that people realised they can roll in many directions. And they made a ball, and then there was then they realised how can we get this ball to like just go in one way, or you know, they probably flatten the sides. I don't know. What came first, the wheel or the ball? Do you think? That's another whole thing. But let's get back to what I'm saying now. Okay. What came first, the stick or the rope? A long thing or a long, or the bridge or the rope bridge? What came first? Or the chain rope bridge, or chain rope grappling hooks and all the rest of it. What came first? The bridge, the ladder. I mean the ladder, or the rope ladder. I'm just making up all kinds of stuff here, but it's interesting, right? What came first? Holding your breath underwater to try to dive, or creating a oxygen tank? I guess like a lot of things, the problem comes first before the idea, the question about how we're going to resolve such a problem. But a lot of people are trying to invent all kinds of stuff nowadays before this and that, like as if they know everything, you know the future, like as if they know your future, so you better buy it, sort of thing. Yeah, you know. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, so like this alien stuff we see like in sci-fi movies and stuff, technology where they're talking about people. They're talking about aliens. You see these aliens in these movies, and they wear armour on their clothes, armoured outfits. That's like people wear. They speak a certain language. That's like humans do. They have 6 eyes. That's because we know that living creatures, a lot of living creatures on Earth, have eyes, heads, tentacles they put on for the arms, and because we know about arms and tentacles and stuff, and we know about that. Okay, you know, weaponry, technology, and all that stuff. You know. So that's what it is, and it's making stuff up constantly. You know. We talk about their technology and their civilizations as though that's going to exist. What technology and tools are that we use is our human way of using what's around us on this planet and putting things together like Lego bricks to make things. It's the same as ants in the forest taking bits of different things to make their nests, you know, or birds or whatever. You know, that's what it is. It's exactly the same. We've taken minerals, we've taken different materials and things, put them together and created machines and all kinds of crazy stuff, right? But that's basically effectively what we're doing. We're taking stuff from around us, what we find on the earth or space or whatever, you know, the reality, and we're just basically making stuff. That's what we're doing. So the point here, yeah, the point I'm trying to say is, you know, reality is what it's all about. It's not that, and it's and you know, but there's a lot of similarities. You see, there's a lot of similarities in what we do, and that's the foundation. There's always going to be similarities. There's always going to be similarities, and we're always going to be trying to be creative and make things up. You know, as I was going to say, I believe there's a lot of arts, like martial arts techniques, and that have been just created, just made up, like for a style of expression, stylish, like artistic ways, because we want to express some kind of information, some kind of message through artwork or music or whatever it may be. Okay, but the underlying principles is our human connection with, even when we're unaware, still connected with nature and the very being of what we are doing here. You know, you want to be the king of the land, because or the famous pop star in the land, because you've been told that's all your life, that's what runs the society. You know, that's what it is. That's those people get loads of money. What's loads of money? A young baby asks, a young child asks when they learn to speak the language that you've taught them. See. But they don't know, before they learn language, a baby will be just like, they don't know what you're saying even, looking at you. But they learn your language, and you know, it's like you go to different countries, the same here in China or anywhere, and people are learning a language. I believe adults do it too all over the world, but that you tell the kid, you know, when someone says how are you, and they say you answer, I'm fine, thank you, how are you? They don't think to say, I feel terrible today, I feel damn tired, or could you please not talk to me, I'm pissed off, you know. No, they just know like robotically to answer this or that, you know. You know, you're told what is, and you know. Someone shows you a keyhole and you stick your key in. You don't think, oh no, you know. But then they see a door handle, or the doors, they know the door's unlocked, and they're too afraid to fucking go in. Or they're told, danger, 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 danger. You know, do not disturb. It's like, do not connect almost. No, they try to get you disconnected to the right stuff and connected to the bullshit. And people just, you know, going around in life. So the truth is reality and nature. That's what we need to be connecting with. We don't need to be walking around, you know, like zombies. So that's basically all I want to say on that. Okay, really, you know, martial arts is a window to it all. True nature and reality is the only thing that really matters, you know. So in society, a lot of people, you know, as I say, young kids and people growing up, they want to be like the stars they see on the TV, because they're told if you have a lot of money, you have a lot of power, fame, famous, this and that. If you do this, you do that. It's all about status. It's all about image and ego and image, the status. They want to get, you know, they buy a nice car so everybody likes them at work, you know. Who can drink the most beers or whatever the fuck, alcohol at the bar, everybody will respect them more. What the heck? The boss will respect you more. You drink more than him. It's like, what? It's like this world. It's like they'll be proud of you. It's like some crazy people will be proud of you if you're harming yourself like that. You want to commit suicide or what? It's ridiculous. So, you know, do what's right. That's what I say for yourself, you know. You're fighting the battle of life. You think and you're harming yourself more than anything else, don't you think a soldier should maintain himself? What are you going to say? Oh man, you never been shot before? I've been shot in my goddamn head, ass and back. So if someone's going to say that, you're not supposed to. They think it's big and tough to show their battle scars. Yeah, I lost this arm in an explosion, man, when my rifle backfired. I lost my shoulder when I was trying to chuck a grenade, you know. Yeah, and the reason I got half a head is because I accidentally got my head sliced off by, I think it was my weapon or the enemy's. You know, it's like, okay, so yeah, now I'm tough up through the wars so I can tell you a thing or two. Goddamn fucking morons, you're lucky to be alive. You know, these people, sorry, waste your damn life like that. You know, it's if someone went through their life without going through so much of the harder things, you know, wouldn't you want to know about how that person did that wisely for each and every one of those days in their life? How that life of theirs was so peaceful. You'd want to study from someone like that. That's somebody fucking wise. Someone who was able to avoid. You must have been lucky, but position, focus, that's what it's about. Not someone who always ends up in trouble and always ends up getting hurt and always has to try and get through it and say, I survived, yeah, but you know, they had to constantly fight all the damn time, and you know, I couldn't relax. You couldn't fucking relax. That's right, you couldn't relax. Well, when the time comes, you'll have enough time, believe me, because you've only got this one life, you know what I mean? It's like anyone who constantly lives a life of fighting like that, whether you're fighting in society in different ways, or you're actually physically fighting, whether it's wars, whether it's gang banging, whatever it is, the time has come to cut out the fighting. And this is what martial arts is all about. It's the total art of warfare through peace. You know, it's the art, the path to peace, to avoid all you know, harm towards yourself and anybody around you and nature. The physical training in the martial arts, the techniques we learn and all that, that's the lowest level. That's what we say, the low level. No matter how good a fighter you are, no matter how strong you are too, you are nothing if you are that. Is that what you want to live your life as? To be the best soldier, the most efficient killer? It's like the samurai of Japan, the ancient samurai or ninja. They were some of the best fighters. But you may not be the best fighter or the elite, but it's like you to have a good level of an art and then use it practically. You want to know efficiently how to use your mind and body in life to make the life better, make the place you live in better in the world, and in your experience of life for you and the people close to you, which are your family and stuff and friends, but obviously humanity. Any human being, anybody else, you know. It's like, I remember Steven Seagal talking about it, saying that, because he's like Buddhist, right, apparently Buddhist, and he was like talking about how he learned to see people and understand people, like anyone could be your brother, your sister, or it's like we're all human in some way, kind of a connection with humanity. And that's what I'm trying to say, sort of thing. I'm trying to say here, like, you're going to protect yourself and what's close, who are those closest to you. And it's definitely humanity, it's definitely nature. We should protect people, you know, we should uphold the peace and safety of people, even animals, and the environment around us, and all that makes sense. You should never be trying to uphold to be cool in the moment or whatever, either trying to look tough at work or whatever, or trying to impress people, being illogical and irrational to try and go flow with the society, the way things are done. You know, and that's a stale old mouldy shit. It's not going to go anywhere, right? You need a flow of things. Sometimes things need to change, right? And you need to fucking change, otherwise you're going to end up, it will change you if you don't change it. You know what I mean? It will change you if you don't change it, believe me, right? But it's like, if you don't change yourself, it will change you. So you've got to change yourself to change it. So it's like that thing. But it's like, it's like, it's just that thing, so I'm kind of confusing myself here, saying a lot of things here. But this is what it's about. So you just go through life like that, and you don't change. You're not going with the flow of logic and what's really reality and what is right. That's not the way to go. Humble yourself before nature. Damn it, you can't beat nature. You got to really be true. Humble yourself before nature. People say humble yourself before God and things like that, and don't fear no other man. Yeah, it's kind of similar to what I'm saying. I don't know if there's a God or anything. Some people say there's a God and He made everything. Some people say there's a God and He is everything. Some people say there's this amazing everything that we have here, which is nature. Science is just as human beings studying. From a human way, they study the world no matter how hard they study. That's the same as goldfish. No matter how hard they study the goldfish bowl, they don't know. They only know what it is. They don't know the world beyond it, beyond that. So you're never going to understand the same thoughts as God, are you? Exactly, and there is one. But I'm just saying, right? Reality, all of reality, the DAO, everything, be it the physical matter of the whole universe, or even just the idea, the concept, all of that. We're saying the whole thing is just amazing and beautiful, but what an amazing, simple on the whole scale, but simple is the human life on planet Earth. But we're very lucky to have it, and it's so big for us. It's the beauty, the perfectness of this life that we have, and it's a perfect life you have. Don't let anyone tell you it isn't. Don't look at others and compare yourself to others. It's weak and foolish to do so. Blind and time wasting is what that is. If you value yourself, don't waste your time. If you value your time, don't waste yourself. Same thing, right? Time and space, man. You're not only in it, you are it. Basically, you need to connect with that to realise that. You can't have like where's the train going? Well, it's not going anywhere if it's not on the tracks. Why did they build those tracks? For a train to go along them. That's what the reason is about. But we're not talking about those ones that people just build. People build roads here all over the world, and that's where you walk. People write a load of books and they stick them in a room and say that's the library, go in there. But then you get lots of information that was written down, and people don't go to the library when they could go in there and they could read so many different books, or they get stuck in one book. Or they say they'll write their own and they don't read anybody else's, and they have a lot of trouble. Or they just read other people's and they never write their own. Or they read all the books but they don't ever think and ask questions about things. It's about learning, about finding truth. It's not about a bunch of tattoos and beating the blood out of someone's head, punching the shit out of someone on the floor, and you say, I don't care, man, it's a man or a woman or something else, and he's beating the shit out of some piece of meat on the floor. Like, it just does not matter anymore. Yeah, man, we're making clones now, we got robotic mutations and fucking mutants, and I want to live in space, man, and tripping on drugs and every night and going to the bar drinking. That is not reality. I'm an advanced human being, man, and you start getting chips in your brain and modern technology, man. 10G, or the fuck, it's probably gonna be a reality soon. Who knows? And they're gonna, plug your brain into the cloud and live in the VR world, man. You're still living on planet Earth, man. That's old fucking fashion. You're living in the Stone Age, man. We used to live on an actual planet called Earth. Can you believe that? Things like that, That's just, and that's what people almost acting like. They're acting so unrealistic. Back in the day, in the history, people they never imagined where we would be today with our technology and where we're living at today and such either, but the thing is, we've always been human, and humans have always been part of nature, that's where we come from. So that, you'll never change, that'll never change, right? Until the human is changed into something else, totally destroyed. So that's it, So that's all there is there, okay, So, Anyway, I'm going to stop this one here. I'm going to say that there's more to life than just fighting. Is what I'm basically trying to say. I'm trying to say wisdom is the ultimate way to truth. Truth is the ultimate way to wisdom. And vice versa. Study truth, never avoid truth, you know. I'm going to stop this video here. I'm going to talk to you later on and say thanks for watching this. In the next video we'll actually talk about some more martial arts concepts and skills too. See you in the next video.